Hi, and welcome to Paranormal Captivity. I am bringing to you tonight the topic of Ouija boards, if you couldn't tell by all my accoutrement. And I set up in front of my creepy cabinet because it has, I don't know if you can see from there, but that tan board is a talking board as well. But this is the beast we're talking about right now. So, I'm pretty excited about this topic. A heads up for anybody watching, if you have strong opinions against the use of Ouija boards or anything of that nature, I have a small little disclaimer in the description that's like, my channel might not be for you, so thanks for stopping by, hi, bye, have a great day. So keep that in mind. If this is a topic that is sensitive to you and you do not feel comfortable hearing about people using them and feeling very comfortable with them, you might want to move along. I have had nothing but, well, I can't really say that. I've had a bunch of super fun experiences with them. Some of them scary, but to me, scary is fun. I've been scared in the moment, but looking back on it, like, I wouldn't change it for anything. So for me, I've always enjoyed them. Also, another heads up, this is going to be completely like stream of consciousness, so I apologize for stuttering and inconsistencies in speech. It's a very broad topic, and I want to include as much in this video for you guys as I can. This is my very first Ouija board. And I don't know if you can see, but like the box is torn to heck. I was in a farm supply store, of all places, with my mom. I don't know what we were buying there. We weren't farmers, but we were there. Came across this. I was like, oh my gosh, I want this. I believe I was 11 or 12. I was like, oh my gosh, I want a Ouija board. And she was like, okay, cool. I've used them before. I'll buy you one. She told me creepy stories about them, but she was pretty down. So this is my Ouija board. It glows in the dark. How cool is that? And I have my planchette down in the bottom. Also glows in the dark, but I'm missing one of the felt things, so it kind of makes a scrapey sound when I use it now. But when I had first gotten it, I mostly played with my mom and my best friend who lived next door. My mom would usually be the one to help us get it started because she would just sit down for a second and just start moving, and then she'd be like, okay, you guys have fun. My friend and I would always be really into it, or we'd even watch movies and play. We would just be completely not watching, and then we'd look down when it'd stop. And then we'd watch the movie and look down when it'd stop, and it'd spell out stuff. You know, my opinion with talking boards is more like you get what you expect. So on days when we wanted to creep ourselves out and freak ourselves out and get scared, we did. On days when we just wanted to like have a sweet day and talk to something, we did. If you expect to be scared, if you expect it to be evil or dark or creepy, it will be. If you expect it to just be fun and exciting and different and a way to communicate, it's all of those things. I do firmly believe in protection and surrounding yourself with love and light, as hippy-dippy as it sounds, but it makes me feel better whenever I use them. Sorry, my phone's dying. So I would definitely encourage if you use any talking boards, you know, take a moment to just kind of center yourself, make sure that you feel protected and grounded and at one with good energy before you start, just so that way you feel a little better. But I know, like, when we were young and we would play, we would sometimes sit there, and if it wasn't working, we'd just start saying, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe, over and over, and then we just start going. So it's weird. I feel that these use your own energy to move the planchette wherever it needs to go, and you're not intuitively, like, you're not making it move consciously, but your energy is being picked up from other places through your fingertips, and it's helping to move it, is my opinion on it. I know I've tried to play by myself, I've tried to leave it out, I've never had anything creepy happen with that. It's only whenever I'm playing with other people. So I do feel like it needs that human contact to be able to really work effectively. My mom had told me stories about her and her friend using them down in her friend's basement, and then creepy stories about like blankets being pulled off of them in the night, and how they had the same person come back over and over. We had some that recurred, but honestly, it's been so long since I played with her at that old house that I don't really remember. I know that we tried to figure out some of the names of what inhabited my old house, and we got the name Michael, which is also my dad's name. So I never really knew if that was actually the name of the person associated with the house in some way. Nobody ever died there to our knowledge or anything. I don't really remember anything in particular, like, conversationally, from those times at my house. As we got older, my friend and I, we would take my board with us whenever we went to our friend's house. So we used to have pool parties at my friend's house, and then in their basement they had like 2 bedrooms and a game room, and we would set up in the 2 bedrooms, and we'd have a group of people in 1 bedroom with my Ouija board, and we would have people go in the other room, and we would ask what the person in the other room was doing, or what number they had held up behind their hand in the dark, or what they were thinking, or what they were whispering, or what they wrote on their hand in the dark. We would test it, and every single time it'd be right. And that person would not be in the room at all, not touching the board, nothing. So that was a super cool experience for us, just to be able to really feel how cool that could be. We had a lot of fun experiences in that house. Most of them were like that. In adulthood, I had a long gap between playing. I know I played it at a New Year's party when my main squeeze and I first hooked up. It was our first New Year's, and nobody was taking it seriously, and I got really crabby because I was like, I want to play, and nobody would play with me really like taking it seriously. And then I played last summer for like half an hour, but it wasn't very much activity. Now, not to say that this board hasn't produced tremendous activity. What I was kind of leading up to is the reveal of probably the best, craziest, freakiest, haunted, scary ghost story I've ever had. And it does start with a Ouija board. And so I am prepared to tell you guys this story. Take it for what it is. I got to go on a trip to North Carolina to visit family for my graduation from high school in 2004. I went with my cousin, and I packed this beast along with me. I was so excited. And actually, I'm pretty sure these wax stains are from that trip. So, we went to the house, and we are both very into the paranormal. So it was a topic of conversation often. We hadn't had a chance to play yet, and my vacation was actually at the beach. It was her and I alone at the beach house, and we were the only people at the beach house. So we planned on a kind of misty day when it wasn't really nice out. We were like, let's play Ouija at the house. Let's go shop and like really creep ourselves out and play Ouija at the house. We were like, okay, that's the plan. So we went out, we got food, and then we started shopping. We went to antique stores first. And I remember we bought a tin photograph of a guy. Age, I do not remember. We bought a tin photo of a guy. I want to say it was a young man, but I don't know. I can't guess the age. It's been too long. It's been over 10 years now. So, and if I ever make an update to this video after I speak to her, if she remembers some things that I don't, because it was a full day of activity happening in this house, I may make an update to this experience at a later date. So, we got that. We went and got candles. I believe we got some other object at the antique store that we felt carried something. It was small, like handheld. I want to say maybe it was a piece of jewelry or beads or something. It was something handheld because we had it on both sides of the board when we played. And we set ourselves up in the living room, and her and I both sat there. We set everything up. We lit some candles. We had everything going, and we sat on the floor, and we were like, is anything here? And we just waited. And we waited. And we waited. And nothing was happening. And so I look at her and I'm like, I can't believe out of every person that I've ever played with, the person that I think I would get the most out of with this, it's not doing anything. And she was like, I know, it just really stinks. And I was like, I just wish something was here with us from this. And as I was talking about wanting something to be there, all of the power in the house went out. Now, like I said, it was a misty day. So my first initial reaction was, is it because of like the misty rain? And I'm asking her as it's coming back on. And she's looking at me like, it's hardly raining. It's just like, it's mist. It's not even enough to knock out power. I don't see why that would cause that. And I said, okay, well, if it wasn't that, maybe you should do it again. As soon as I said that, the power went out again. And then it came back up. And I'm facing her, and behind her is the couch and the wall. She's facing me, and behind me is a little like square hallway, if that makes sense. And there's 2 bedrooms off the sides and a bathroom right straight back. She looks over my shoulder and she goes, I just saw a foot walk behind you. So I jump up and I get next to her and I ask her to describe what she saw. And she said it was like a ghostly foot, and there were hardwood floors. And she said it was like she saw the foot from the ankle down, just in like white wispy form, take a step, and it left like when a clammy hand touches glass, that kind of like print, it left one of those on the floor. So we were both a little creeped out. So after that, we're like, okay, this is freaky. And then we start hearing sounds around the house. I know we heard sounds in the kitchen. I started hearing a lot of sounds by the front door. And that's where we were. We were like in the living room and the front door was right there. So we kept looking at the front. I guess this is going to be more than one video. Sorry. So, wispy mass figure, but I couldn't actually physically see it. I could sense it in the corner by the front door, as if it was kind of keeping us there. So, just in like walking around and everything, we're like, okay, maybe we just need some time away from the house. Let's grab our stuff and go. So we grab our bags, we walk out, and as we're going, like it's like up on stilts. So as we're going down the stairs, we pass one of the bedroom windows, and it's one of the bedrooms we aren't using. And we walk by and she sees the blinds lift up from the window and slam back. And so she's freaking out. And so we run to the car, we go get ice cream, and we talk about what just happened. So we figure, you know what? It was really, really creepy. Why don't we go ahead and like start cleaning the house? And that way, if it's still creepy, you know, tomorrow, if we left a day early, it wouldn't be a big deal. So we head back to the house, we start cleaning, picking up trash, doing some stuff. I remember I was packing my bag a little bit and making the beds in the bedroom that we were in. And I started hearing this music. And it was loud, but muffled and distant at the same time. It was like there was like a 1920s or 30s radio playing in the house, like in front of the entertainment center, but not coming from the entertainment center. And it was loud, but you couldn't understand any of the words. You could barely understand a melody. It was just like noise, but it was melodic and beautiful and creepy at the same time. We could not find the source of it, but we knew it was in the living room. We were right there. So we were in there looking around for it, and all of a sudden it just stopped. And we were like, okay, that's enough. This is really weird. So we were drying or washing clothes at the time. We just decided to grab those clothes right out of the washer, start sticking them in trash bags, and we just loaded up everything that we had, and we ended up leaving that day. We didn't even stay through that night. We ended up going to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, hanging out with her friends who had graduated there. I ended up staying up the whole night. She, I think, napped in one of the hotel rooms for a little bit with a friend. And then the next day we went back to her house and we ended up stopping by, seeing her parents, and staying the night in one of their cabins. And it was, I know I say everything in like a super cheery voice because I am genuinely excited about paranormal activity and ghost activity. But this was legitimately like the most freaked out I've ever been by scary stuff. I mean, it was to the point that we left the house, and I've never had that happen. Most of the time I get super ballsy, and I remember being really ballsy whenever things were happening and I was like rushing into the other rooms to find what was doing stuff. But I've never had moments where I just was like, F it, I'm out, I'm going. Like I might say it once and not mean it, but no, this time we left. We just left. I did end up returning to that house the following year with a friend and her mom, and we stayed for a week as well. I know that my friend saw a couple things. She saw someone pacing on the front porch up top. And I remember that we heard a couple like knocks and things, but they could be explained. We weren't familiar with the house enough to know what's normal, what's not. But nothing super creepy. The creepiest thing was her seeing the person walking on the entryway. So yeah, that is my creepiest, scary story that all started because my cousin and I really wanted to play Ouija and it didn't work. Or did it? It kind of did. Sorry if I'm so cheesy. I really, really love Ouija boards and I wish more people would play with me. So, that's been my story. I hope you enjoyed it. And stick around for another Paranormal Captivity. I will try and bring you one as soon as I can. Have an amazing day. And I will talk to you soon. Bye!